To listen ad-free, visit zinspod.co/subscribe. Starting at $2.99 a month, you'll also get access to our exclusive bonus content episodes when you join through Patreon or Apple subscriptions. Thanks for supporting the show. Earlier this month, we re-released our episode about Tabatha Tozzi in remembrance of the 2-year anniversary of her death. As a special swing shift episode, this week we're giving you an update on the shocking apprehension of Ozwaldo Nathaniel Perez Sanchez, the man wanted for her murder. Finally, her family and friends may get the justice they've been seeking for 2 years. Get ready as we put in a little overtime on Swing Shift and update you on the murder of Tabatha Tozzi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, not subscribers. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Hello, listeners.
Welcome to a Swing Shift episode. If you haven't listened to one before, if you're not a subscriber, welcome.
Welcome. On our Swing Shift episodes, John and I, we don't have a script. We just kind of talk through the cases that we cover that week. And we wanted to use that style to update you all on Tabatha and what happened on April 15th, 2025. And we didn't want to make this for subscribers only. We wanted to put this update out to everyone.
Because it's amazing. It's an amazing thing that happened.
Yes. So like John said, on April 8th, 2025, we had planned this in advance. The anniversary was coming up of Tabatha's murder. And in support of her family, like we did last year, we re-released her episode with any updates that we had. That was Victims' Rights Week this year. And we just wanted to honor all of the hard work that Regina and the entire Tabby tribe do all the time to keep Tabatha's case in the press, to keep her name out there here in Las Vegas and everywhere. So people are always looking for Ozwaldo and they remember Tabby in their search for justice. So we recorded that episode and we released it on April 8th. I'm sure many of you who are listening now know Tabatha's story, but just to remind everyone that Tabatha was shot on April 26, 2023, allegedly by her then boyfriend, Ozwaldo Nathaniel Perez Sanchez. She ended up dying from her injuries 2 days later on April 24th. And so, John, do you want to share the news that we have?
Yeah, so it was right around news time. So it was around 10 o'clock, I guess.
Yeah.
And we were watching the news and you got a text message or a message on
Instagram, I think.
And it said they got Perez or something like that.
Yes, yeah. And I think the message was actually it was written in Spanish.
Oh, yeah, it was in Spanish. And we were like, What? So we immediately started Googling and found out that the news had broken just like 30 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
That they caught him in Mexico.
Yeah. So this was April 15th.
April 15th. Very shortly after we released the episode.
Yeah. And you and I said that like earlier that evening, you and I both had received a random phone call through like Facebook Messenger from someone.
Yes, from this person.
Yeah, that we didn't really know. And we were kind of like confused. Like, well, why is this person trying to call us? It must just be an accident through Messenger. But it was actually because one of our listeners was trying to reach us to let us know that the news had broke. Authorities in Sonora, Mexico arrested Perez Sanchez.
Which is great.
It was great news. He wasn't really hiding. When we saw photos of him, I knew the moment I saw the photo because he was wearing a short sleeve shirt. And even though his face was partially blurred, you could see his chin and his neck and his arms,
ink, his tattoos.
And I recognized his tattoos right away.
We didn't talk about this, but I thought he looked a lot thinner too.
He did.
I'm not.
He did.
So he probably lost a bunch of weight in an effort to change his appearance.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Something.
But yeah, he definitely looked a lot skinnier for sure.
And the authorities said he was using the name Jorge. We found out in a similar way that we found out that Eric Ibarra had been, when he was arrested for Leslie Palacio's murder, it was a similar kind of post. I wonder if that's very common for Mexican authorities, for police departments to put out those posts where they have a picture of the perpetrator in handcuffs with their face blurred out and the officers around them.
Although it might be that it was news in Mexico and it was, on the news there.
Yeah.
But it just made it to us.
It made it to us
because
via
of
the Facebook post.
Which is excellent. We were really happy to see they finally got this guy.
Yeah. The thing that was heartbreaking about the whole thing was that the reason why they arrested Perez Sanchez was because he was wanted for another murder. He is being accused of murdering a woman named Viviana Corelli. She was missing for 17 days, and then she was found murdered, and he is considered the prime suspect in her murder. She's the same, 26 years old, same age as Tabatha when Tabatha was killed. Viviana's sister, Alma, actually gave an interview to our local Las Vegas Fox affiliate, Fox 5 here in Las Vegas, and she said, "I'm not using my voice just for my sister, but also for Tabatha, because she didn't deserve to die. They were the same age, they had so much to live for, and I don't think it's fair that he dimmed their light so soon." Like I said, Viviana was only 26. I read online that she had a beloved cat. She loved sushi. She was very intelligent, a very good friend. Her sister said she was the core of the family, and she was a fan of Harry Styles. And there's a photo of Viviana hugging her cat, which is very similar to the photo that I love of Tabatha hugging her dog.
Tabatha's mother came out with a statement. She said, "I'm happy and also sad. I'm happy because the killer of my daughter Tabatha got caught, a moment we've been waiting for 2 years. I knew in my heart this moment was arriving soon, and it finally did. I'm also very sad because he took the life of another young woman, Vivian Caroli. Her name deserves to be honored, and we will keep honoring her as well. I'm heartbroken that the mother will be going through what I've gone through these last 2 years. I don't desire this for anyone. It's very painful to lose your daughter, and especially in a horrible femicide. No mother deserves this, and I want the family to know that I'm here to support them and will fight with them for justice. The fight's not over. Justice is still not completely served. We want him to serve prison time and for him to serve, ideally, here in Las Vegas. We are now on another wait to see what happens, and we will continue fighting for justice to be completely served."
Yeah, so he would have to be extradited to the United States from Mexico. The United States does have an extradition treaty with Mexico, but Mexico requires assurances that the person being extradited is not facing life without parole or the death penalty. So that's a huge hurdle. I believe Eric Ibarra might be facing that same hurdle with his extradition. But also with Perez Sanchez, he has this pending case for Viviana's murder. So I don't think the Mexican authorities are going to be ready to extradite him until that case is resolved. And it might be likely that he could face a long sentence if he's found guilty for that murder. And I don't know that he could ever stand trial. I hope he does. I really do. I hope that happens, but it could be a very long time. Eric Ibarra was arrested in July 2024. It's April 2025, so about 9 months ago, and he's still not been extradited, and there's no telling when, and it's likely to take years. That's what I read, that it's going to take years for him to be extradited.
And it seems completely within reason that both of these two could face first-degree murder charges, which could carry a sentence of life in prison.
Yeah.
We were talking about it, and we sort of think that it could be that Eric Rangel Ibarra could potentially be tried for second-degree murder, possibly. No telling, no idea how to know. There's no way to tell, but certainly with Ozwaldo, I would imagine it would be a first-degree murder charge, considering there are witnesses to him shooting Tabatha.
Yeah, and I don't know that anyone wants to see him not. It's such a horrible compromise to even think about making, right? Like, we want him to be extradited so he can stand trial, but we're going to have to compromise on the fact that it's the maximum sentence he's going to be able to get is going to have to be there's going to have to be some kind of parole. It can't be life without parole. That can't be the punishment. And it certainly can't be the death penalty. or Mexico just won't give him to us.
Yeah. So that's
kind of where we're stuck. But speaking of the first degree murder charge, one thing that came out in the news articles this week that was not even there when we updated the episode like 2 weeks ago, and it definitely wasn't in the press 2 years ago. Tabatha's murder was recorded on a neighbor's security camera. And it's reported that that video camera footage captured exactly what her friend told the police and the press that had happened, that he shot Tabatha and then he carjacked the friend and took off. So,
so there's a lot of questions now about why did they not?
Yeah, I don't know why that wasn't made public
and if
earlier.
you think back to the case, it was days before they named him as a suspect, and they had him on camera. So it seems like that was a pretty huge miss.
And the fact that they knew for sure the car that he was driving and they couldn't catch him.
They knew the car, they knew the plates. They have all these cameras going up and down all the major streets, and they couldn't track him. Or they didn't track him.
And comparing that to Eric Ibarra, I know I keep bringing him up, but he murdered, or he had something to do with Leslie's death in 2020. And that was 2020, and they had plenty of footage of where his car was and all of that stuff. That's how they were able to catch him and find her.
And we've talked about that in a couple cases.
Yeah.
The murder behind the Avis. They tracked that dude all the way down Boulder Highway, and they caught him the next day.
So this wasn't this happened 2 years ago. This wasn't ancient history. This wasn't the before four. This was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Those cameras have been up for a long time.
There was also some new reporting about how Perez Sanchez was terrorizing Tabatha, that he had pulled a gun and pointed at her the day before, which is just awful. But we had heard those stories that she was asking for help and she was saying that she was scared. It's just all around a tragedy, especially when you think the authorities didn't catch him before he got away and he ended up murdering someone else. It appears to be true. Obviously, everything is alleged, but
it feels like that could have been potentially prevented.
Yeah. 2 families destroyed. There's also news. I don't want to call it news, but there's a lot of speculation in the press as to who was protecting him in Mexico and who he was staying with. And it's expected that those people are likely to have charges brought against them for harboring a fugitive as well. So hopefully the next few weeks we have even more updates on that.
So we will bring further updates as we get them, but that is all we have for you for right now. But we wanted to update you on that.
And I will just say that since we started the podcast, more or less, we've been pressing every Wednesday 3 fugitives on the run: Eric Ibarra, Ozwaldo Perez Sanchez, and Eduardo Clemente. And 2 of the 3 so far have been apprehended. So that leaves Eduardo Clemente, who's wanted for the murder of Tiffany Booth. So keep sharing his photo because we want that. We want to be able to bring him in as well.
Yeah.
He's
3
somewhere.
For 3.
They're not, they can't hide forever.
Nope. They're out there.
Thank you, everyone. Later this week, the week that John and I are recording this, Regina and the Tabby tribe are going to have a celebration of life for Tabatha, and so keep Tabatha and her family in your thoughts this week as well, because it's all about her. And remember, what happens here happens everywhere.
Thanks for listening. Visit sinspod.co/subscribe for exclusive bonus content and to listen ad-free. Remember to like and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Threads at Sins and Survivors. If you're enjoying the podcast, please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. You can contact us at questions@sinsandsurvivors.com.
If you or someone you know is affected by domestic violence or needs support, please reach out to local resources or the National Domestic Violence Hotline. A list of resources is available on our website, sinsandsurvivors.com. Sins and Survivors, a Las Vegas true crime podcast, is researched, written, and produced by your hosts, Sean and John. The information shared in this podcast is accurate at the time of recording. If you have questions, concerns, or corrections, please email us. Links to source material for this episode can be found on our website, sinsandsurvivors.com.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the podcast creators, hosts, and their guests. All individuals are innocent until proven guilty. This content does not constitute legal advice. Listeners are encouraged to consult with legal professionals for guidance.